Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fan Frenzy podcast. I'm your host, Chris Borgia, alongside co-host Ben Lotman, Gabe Layden, Jake Holzhauer. Today's a long football episode. To throw some news at you, though, obviously, like we always do. I got a lot of injuries to report within the football world. So if I miss any, please jump in, guys. But for what I have Puka Nakua is out. Debo Samuel, Cooper Cup, AJ Brown, CMC, Pacheco, Joe Mixon, Hollywood Brown, and the unfortunate news of Tua Tagovailoa.
And you forgot Graham Gano.
Well,
Gano's
I mean, I was trying to name the big name
the Giants
people.
probably more than most of those guys impact their teams sometimes.
I was trying to name the big name people, but
he's mainstream. What are you talking about?
for other news too, Andy Dalton is now a starting quarterback again. I love to see it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it going back to those old Cincy days. You know, it's unfortunate for Bryce Young though. I like Bryce Young. I'm not a hater towards Bryce Young, and I don't discredit the kid for what he's having to deal with in Carolina at all.
I think that this move.
Yeah,
I think that this move isn't even like. I know we're gonna touch on it later, but I don't think this is a full-on benching for the season. I think it is just a sit down. Like, you need to relax, kid. There's so much heat on you right now because you're not doing well. So just take a break and move on. Well, I'm gonna say he's guaranteed gonna start, not this week, next week after they bench him.
Some other news that I wanted to bring up that's alongside of it. Some of it's like one of the things actually kind of like sad towards me, at least. It might you three probably won't care at all. I seen a video the other day on Instagram. Everybody in here should know who Jeffrey Simmons is, right? It was a video of him and Derrick Henry, and how before every Titans game they would go out and dab each other up and have this whole like thing. And he posted a video of just him saying the exact same stuff that he says to Derrick Henry every time, and he was about to tear up, and he was like, "Yo, like, where's my guy at?"
Oh, that's sad.
I'm a big Jeffrey Simmons fan, so that kind of hurts. That aside, some other news that I have. So first off, I took this beautiful video of Nick Foles on last night. I didn't get close enough to him. And in other news, Ben should know realistically who this is. You two probably won't, but Ben should know who this is. Ben, have you ever heard of the name Samuel Moran?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to give some quick backstory, Samuel Moran was a former Flyers player. He was about 6'7", I want to say, very young. He was supposed to become the next Zdeno Chara and beat up everybody in the league pretty much because of his size, and he was a defenseman. And early in his career, he had a career-ending injury, which was very unfortunate. And he was forced to retire young, and the Flyers told him, "Hey, like, we want to hire you into our organization as a coach." So he ended up joining them, and your boy was hanging out with them at Xfinity Live this past weekend.
Whoa, that's sick.
He's a giant, bro. That's so
Yeah,
What type of
that was
coach
kind of
is he?
fun.
What type of coach?
He's a coach for like the minor league teams, I think.
That's
Really,
cool.
really down to earth guy. He was like, "Oh, yo, if you're not busy during the Eagles game, like come chill with me. I'll be here." He was hanging out with his Canadian buddies. Great guy overall.
Wow. Now, I have a question real quick about hockey. Like, is it the same as like MLB, where like managers and coaches in the bottom of like the minors can like work their way up to like the majors?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it takes time. Yeah, they can get moved up though from
Like
the Phantoms to the
Like Brandon
Flyers.
Snicker. That's sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody have any other type of
Flyers.
news?
I do actually, and
Hit me
Chris,
with it.
I know you're gonna have something to say about this one. At the UFC event this weekend, the main card wasn't that crazy, and I'm not going to talk about the actual fights themselves. What I'm going to talk about, though, is John Jones was interviewed. They asked him, "Hey, be real for a second. Is Stipe going to be your last fight? Which, if you guys don't know, just got booked for November at MSG. It's official now. John Jones said, I don't have the exact quote with me, but he said in all likelihood that it will be, meaning that Dana White previously said that the fight with Tom Aspinall was a definite, that it was definitely going to happen once John Jones and F. Lee beats Stipe, which, by the way, he was very. Dana did not give Stipe any credit. Stipe could beat John Jones. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Very unlikely, but it could happen. But now it seems like Dana basically just got called on his bluff, or I mean, maybe just didn't know. John Jones is probably going to retire after this next fight. I don't want to buy into the meme here, which I know you guys have all probably seen at some point, but he is the greatest of all time. What a career! If this is it against Stipe, I know I'll be watching. So,
Wow.
what do you got to say about that, Chris? No Tom Aspinall versus John Jones. And before you get started, let me say this.
He's a baby.
Right? John Jones has gone through like 3 generations of fighters, as my friend Danny says, right? He's the greatest of all time. There's always going to be a next person up. By the time he beats Tom Aspinall, then maybe you have Pereira, who's going to be a heavyweight. And you're going to say you're going to duck Alex Pereira. And then if he beats Pereira, who's going to be next, right? There's always going to be somebody next. Tom Aspinall is a dominant heavyweight. There's no denying that. And he has the interim belt, which is something that a lot of other those challengers don't have. But there's always going to be somebody next. Now go ahead.
It's because John Jones knows he'll lose, so he's ducking him.
He's old,
he's
isn't he, though?
You could be the go all you want, but ducking him's crazy.
Yeah, but now why not just end off on a win on your career? Instead
end off on a win against a dude who's older than you and moves like a fossil. Because that's more.
Stipe Miocic is probably the best heavyweight of all time. I mean, he is at this point, right? There was the argument with it was either him or DC. It's him because he beat DC.
It's DC.
You think DC is the best heavyweight? I think DC is the better fighter when you combine their entire careers, because DC fought it.
I'll take DC over Stipe, but that's a little bit of bias because DC's my favorite. DC's my favorite UFC fighter of all time. So there's
He's one of mine
there.
too. I love DC.
Yeah, no.
That's my fighter of all time.
I would take him. Moving on. Oh wait, Jake has news.
This is probably a good transition into our next segment.
No, it might not be.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna beat Ben to the punch because he's gonna hold it over me and Gabe this entire show, waiting to say it. So I'm just gonna beat him to the punch. Unfortunately, the New York Giants were the first ever team to score 3 touchdowns.
This does not move into our next segment.
All right. Well, unfortunately, they are. But the only good thing about that game, which we'll touch up on later, the Giants looked okay. So they didn't look like the worst team of all time.
Make one field goal.
Wow.
Like, come on now.
Or 1 2-point conversion. Like, come on.
I mean,
guys, good job. You looked good against one of the worst teams in football. Congratulations.
What we were
point after attempt. That's it. One extra.
What we were actually supposed to move into is our fantasy football update. Hey guys.
God. Oh God.
Oh.
Bad.
Wow, guys. I'll start because why not? So Sean Gravely I was against, who put up the second most points in the entire league, literally 0.70 behind Jake. He put up 159. Jake put up 160. Spoiler alert, Jake put up most points in the league. My team decided to put up 100 points. Jaden Daniels had 14. I benched Joe Burrow after he decided to lose to the Patriots without Matthew Judon and, anybody really on the Patriots roster to begin with. So I tried Jaden Daniels. Okay. I mean, Saquon did his thing per usual. Aaron Jones kind of fell off a little bit, fumbled the ball. Awful. Keenan Allen, you're a bum. You're a bum. I'm tired of you already. I don't care. I'm already tired of you.
I tried to trade for him, and you said
it's the Caleb Williams effect. It's the Caleb Williams. I'll trade him to you. I will trade him to you.
Send me a trade offer in the middle of the pod.
Stephon Diggs. I don't know what happened. 7.7 points is not tolerable. Travis Kelce. I waited for the time to come. You are finally showing that you will never touch Rob Gronkowski. It is beautiful. You are trash, buddy. DK Metcalf, thank you for doing your thing. Same with the Chiefs defense. And obviously, young Waco had his way last night. He had his fun time last night.
Can I go on my tangent now?
Go for it.
About the fact that I scored 130 points.
Just
And
lose.
for the second year in a row, I go against Alvin Kamara on his one game a season where he gets 40 points. Every season he has one game.
But
where he
I
gets
thought
40
Isaiah
points.
Likely was the #1 tight end. I thought he could do anything, right?
4.6 points.
I had to play Isaiah Likely because my starting tight end was hurt.
Ben, you know what's funny too? I gave you a point because Dallas had negative points this week. I gave you a point.
I thought Mike Evans was him though. No, I'm messing around because Mike Evans is still an 1,000-yard receiver every day.
I'm so frustrated too because I can't see my team doing much better than they did this week.
I will literally make a Keenan Allen package for Mike Evans.
And the worst part about it is the first 3 weeks I'm going up against the 3 teams I thought were the best teams going out of the draft outside of mine. So
what do you think, Ben?
I'm probably going to start 0-3 because I'm going against Sean this week, who has
Don't hit the panic button. Don't hit the panic button.
I'm not going to hit the panic button. I did offer some trades to some people that probably won't look at them because people don't like to look at trades, I guess, in our league. In this league. In my other league, it's Gabe's in it. It's psychotic. It's so stupid. We make like 6 trades a week. It's so stupid.
Ben, give me Mike Evans.
This morning too.
Ben, give me Mike Evans for Keenan Allen.
Straight up.
If you want to make a trade offer for Mike Evans, go ahead. But
no, because he's gonna smack my trade offer after I smack Zach Charbonnet. He's gonna smack my trade offer after I smack Zach Charbonnet and Likely for Travis Kelce.
I'm openly stating on this podcast, Chris Olave and Derrick Henry and Jalen Waddle are all in the trade block. I'm looking to receive offers for those guys. I'd like some sort of flex or tight end. So.
My trading block is Keenan Allen and Travis Kelce.
Ben, how do you like Dallas Goedert?
No. He's not good.
What did you want to say, Gabe?
He's better than your tight end.
Here's what I'll say. I
played
fantasy football for now. Is this going to be our 3rd year with the API League, Ben? Or is this our 2nd? I forget. Might be our 2nd, actually.
I think it's our 2nd.
Yeah. Either way, I've gotten to know my opponents pretty well in this league, especially Ben. He will not make a trade with anybody unless he is objectively winning the trade. So there's no fair trade. There is no you know what? Let me take a risk here. It is he either wins the trade by a mile or there's no trade happening. So Chris, good luck with that.
Hey, I literally made a trade. I made a trade with you in our other league.
Yeah, do you want me to say the trade?
Which I cooked you in because I'm just a genius. Like, yeah, go ahead. I'm a genius.
I'm gonna try to hold on. It's not loading
now. I know what it is.
Wait, no, you said this on the last episode. You showed the trade.
Did I?
Unless if you did a new one within a week.
No, it was a new one. It was a new one.
Wow, damn, you guys do trade a lot. Ben, I got a question before Gabe finds it.
Yeah.
Did you when you fell asleep Sunday night? Did you fall asleep to Alvin Kamara staring back at you?
Honestly,
can I trade for him?
You can try to put a package together.
Try to
put a package
right
now.
to.
I just want you to know that Alvin Kamara probably won't put up over 20 points again the rest of the season. I'm just telling you that's going to happen.
Maybe not, Chris. Looking at your team, add AJ Brown and Saquon, and then we'll start talking.
That's not going to happen.
Okay. It's okay. The #1 ranked fantasy running back right now.
Also, Jalen Turnover Hurts is available in the trade.
Awesome.
You like my new nickname for him? You like that one? Jalen Turnover Hurts.
All right, Gabe. What is your recap, Gabe?
All right. It's 4:45 in the afternoon. I'm having an alright day, and I get this email trade proposed for me from Ben. It's Derrick Henry and Devin Singletary. Mind you, I had already had Devin Singletary on my team, and I dropped him. I don't know why I dropped this guy, but whatever. I dropped him. It was stupid. For Kyron Williams and Raheem Mostert, right?
That's a fair trade.
I'm not going to start Singletary. I'm probably not going to start Mostert. So it ends up being Kyron for Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry doesn't score a touchdown, he is completely useless in fantasy football.
Yeah, Gabe, I agree. You lose that trade if you accept it.
Because it's basically a Kyron for Derrick Henry.
You did accept it, though, right?
Maybe Mostert and Singletary get one start on my team.
Okay. Well, Mostert is
crazy of a trade
in a couple weeks.
It's not crazy. It's just it doesn't make sense for me.
Gabe, did you win this week though in our league?
Did I win this league in our league? I remember last week I had the most points in our league, and I just barely snuck away with a win. This week, I think I might have had the second least amount of points, or close to the bottom.
No, you
And
you
also,
definitely did not have the second least because I had the least, which was 100 on the dot.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe I had the third least. I had 108. My opponent had
You were
106.
fourth. You were fourth
Fourth.
least.
Okay. Wait, so
Because
that's
you
half
would
the
have
point.
this week. This week you would have beaten Patty. You beat James, and you would have also beaten me.
Yeah, so subpar week from the team. Tyreek did not play well, obviously, with the Tua injury. Lamar didn't play too great. Garrett Wilson, just not a great game. Joe Mixon, I think now he's injured. Not a great week, but 2-0. We move on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, at what point did you start taunting me on your touchdowns? I decided.
I just like the taunt feature. I think it's hilarious.
I'm glad they added it, but like you taunted, and I think you were down by like 10 at that point, and then I just started destroying you after you
Dude,
taunted.
All I want to say is, I only lost by 30. If your kicker didn't score 20 points, like you would have been sweating on Monday night.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I
but
mean,
thankfully, who did you have on Monday? Was it Hurts? Yeah,
No.
I mean, I'm not afraid of Hurts, so.
Whoever came up with the taunting feature, by the way, is evil because if I'm lucky I had Kamara last week on one of my teams. If I was on the opposite side of that, I would have I don't even know what I would
And
have
do you
done
know what's
if I
so
just
funny about taunting
continuously
too?
Kamara touchdown, Kamara touchdown, Kamara touchdown. I see
yeah,
him
what's
dancing
so-
in character in
what-
cartoon
I didn't know
form.
what to do.
I
I
didn't
didn't
know
know
what
what
to
to
do
do about it, Gabe.
What's-
I didn't
yeah.
know what to do about it.
What's funny about the recap or the touchdown taunts is it recreates whatever dance move they did. I found that out, so it's so
I didn't
funny.
check that, but I
Yeah,
figured I'm
it
like,
does.
maybe it's just like an animation that they made up. That's really interesting. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, me
They're
too.
still
It's
evil,
cool.
whoever made that though.
Oh, absolutely. They knew what they were doing. They 100% knew what they were doing.
Moving on, guys. Before we go in and cook on football, we have our player of the weeks.
Woo!
Should I start because mine is probably the craziest?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So
Instagram followers might know too.
I had quite the day on Thursday as I was texting in the group chat and said, "Hey guys, I'm about to meet someone really famous." And everybody's in the group chat like, "What are you even talking about, bro? It's like 4 in the afternoon. Like, what are you
I'm in class.
Yeah, like we're in class, like, what are you going on about, bro?" And I'm like, "I'm about to meet Conor McGregor." And they're like, "What do you mean you're about to meet Conor McGregor?" Dave's like, Where? I'm
I
like,
was trying to pull up.
well, the one liquor store by my house, he's doing a signing thing, meet and greet, trying to promote his beer. So I'll give you some backstory. I left Temple and hopped on the subway at 3:00. I pulled up to Broad in Oregon, the subway station, about 3:30, and somehow made it all the way to Bell's in a 20-minute span, which is a
How'd you hear about
pretty far walk. I heard about this from a
That's a
very
long
close
walk.
friend of mine who usually is really up to date on UFC. Like whenever something like even gets leaked out, he's automatically on it and sends it in our group chat. So I'm very appreciative of him at Santino. I appreciate you a lot. That aside, I got there about like 3:50 and jumped in line with one of my other friends. Shout out to, I know Ben and Gabe know this is, shout out to Allison. Jumped in line with her and her mom, and I'm waiting in line. It gets to about 4:10, and we walk inside, and Conor McGregor is standing there, and they handed me a 4-pack of his beer, which he signed. So obviously I'm not gonna
Wow.
open it. And they also gave me a free T-shirt and a free glass. Here's my photo with the Notorious MMA.
Yeah,
And-
I'll put the
Yeah.
photo on the.
And
on
a
the
quick video of him signing it too.
Oh,
For
you
you
should have
too.
sent that to me so I could put that on the Instagram.
So that is quite something. And I am cooking up some stuff on the website. So I'm going to shout out the website real quick because I do have an article coming out after I spoke with the Notorious MMA and said, if Tom Aspinall, and I quote, if Tom Aspinall and John Jones fought, who would win? And he said John Jones. So I have something to pick with him about that one.
Interesting.
So,
Did
Chris,
Did he seem like he was intoxicated of any sort?
He did not. And what I
Chris, let me
will
hear
say is he is a very genuine guy. I see it like to every girl who even walked up to him, he was calling them beautiful, like very genuine, down to earth Irish guy.
Sounds
And
like
I
Chris,
loved
let me
every
get this
second
straight.
of him
And-
and his accent.
There's
Sounds like
actually
Gabe.
Chris. There's
Sounds
actually
like
news
Gabe.
about him too.
Let me
No
hear it.
more Michael Chandler fight.
Yep.
Who does he have now?
Wow, Chris, let me get this
Nobody
right.
knows.
You had one question to ask Conor McGregor, and that's what you asked.
Yes. For the sole
It's a
factor
big
that I
question in the
know,
MMA
for the sole
community.
factor
Oh.
that I know that he is friends with John Jones, I wanted to know if he
All
would
right.
still sign with John Jones.
Hey,
All right.
Was
One
my
quick
piece
thing.
behind it.
you guys already would have known that if you were following the Instagram. So make sure you follow the Instagram right now at the
Shameless
Fan Frenzy
plug.
Pod.
Before we move
Oh,
off of my player of the week, I want to say one thing real quick. Marab, I hate everything about you, your life, everything. I despise everything about you. I
We will get
I
to
do
that.
not
Don't worry,
I
when it
do
gets
not
to me,
strive
we
to
will get
live
that.
with this set of champions inside the UFC and
We'll
Dana
get
White.
some.
We have to have a nice drink together and speak about this because this is unlawful.
We love to have Dana White on the pod. Dana.
If there's time at the end of the episode, I will go on a quick tangent with Gabe. Hence to why.
And
Moving
now
on.
Gabe's player of the week.
You might not have to wait till the end of the episode. You'll see.
Yeah.
Rant alert! To everyone telling me to go drink bleach, I'm not thirsty.
Yeah. Gabe, why don't you go next?
Should I go next?
Yeah, why not?
I
My
wonder
player of the
who it is
week,
today.
the one, the only, the machine, Merab Dvalishvili. All right.
Oh
This
my!
guy-
No, you did not.
I did. I have it pulled up right here. Absolutely dominant performance against Chris, and I know Sean O'Malley is not towards the top of like the pound for pound rankings. He's pretty good, but he's probably not top 5 in pound for pound.
I
would
dare you
say.
to talk bad on
right?
Sean O'Malley right now.
But he
I
is the
dare
face
you.
of the UFC to those who don't
news.
really watch MMA, right? He is one of maybe 5 fighters that Jake and Ben most definitely know, and most people around the world know because of his hair, because of his fighting style. He's electric. Nothing against Sean O'Malley. I love him. He's a great fighter, but he was just completely destroyed by Merab. Just for strike totals, Sean is usually the guy to throw more strikes. He's usually throwing left and right, just crazy strikes, right? Sean threw total strikes. He went 49 of 91. Merab went 214 of 310. Merab is not a striker. He takes people down. He holds them there. That is what he did to Sean O'Malley. And before we get into the arguments and stuff, Sean O'Malley's coach, you have a feud with McGregor or a bone to pick with McGregor for picking John Jones. How about this guy Tim Welch, who now the second straight fight, or second out of 3 fights, when he fought Aljo for the belt, Tim Welch yells out, "Aljo, what do you say? You need to go, Aljo." Aljo runs right into a left hand or a right hand. I forget what it was from Sean O'Malley. Ends the fight, right? What did Tim Welch say to Merab? He said, "Merab, you got to be patient." He was scared of that fierceness, that he was scared of that cardio that Merab has. Merab looked at him. He said, "Shut up." He got the ref involved. Tim Welch did not say a word the entire rest of the fight. Merab started kissing the back of Sean O'Malley, holding him down. It was insane. Crazy dominance from Merab. Listen, he might not be the most exciting fighter, but if you're a fan of MMA and you watch that fight, you just got to be in awe because that was pure dominance over somebody that was a pretty good champion.
So let me ask you this: after he decided to kiss him on the back, what happened?
Merab, it came out today that Merab said that he thought the round was over. He got off of them because he saw Herb Dean touch his back. He
Yeah,
starts
what
to walk
happened?
back to his corner. Sean, noticing that, okay, this might be the one shot I have to knock this guy out, gets up and starts throwing punches at the back of his head. That's what happened.
It was deserved. It was deserved. And guess what? Merab could be a quote unquote champ all he wants. You are not a good fighter whatsoever when your past 2 fights.
Dominance.
Hold on.
If he's
hold
not
on,
a good fighter,
hold
then
on,
what's Sean
hold on,
O'Malley?
hold on. You are not a good fighter whatsoever if your last 2 fights, right? Because the fight before that was against Pierre Yan, right? Correct? Or was
I
that 2
believe-
fights before?
I gotta look this up. I believe you're right, and I believe he beat Cejudo Jan was before Cejudo.
Okay.
Triple
All right.
C.
Pieter. All right. So let's backtrack a little bit before Cejudo. Throw Cejudo off to the side. No one cares about Cejudo anyways. That aside, right? What happened in the Pieter Jan fight? Because I recall watching that. That was the same night I think Volkov fought
Volkov and Romanov.
Yeah, Romanov and Volkov. It was the same night, and Pieter Jan and Merab fought. And what happened? How did Merab win that fight, Gabe? Remind me.
Struck him 147-75. That's how he won that fight. He won by the absolute dominance over a fighter like Sean.
No, if I'm correct though, he gained a UFC title, like a title in history. He gained a UFC title in history. The amount of attempts for takedowns, 50.
Everybody has
50.
Everybody
you
has
can't strike, so you're gonna go for the dude's legs the whole time. What?
John Jones.
You are not a good fighter whatsoever, Merab.
Everybody, if you're
Merab
a
is
fighter,
not a good. I could win a fight against anybody by hugging onto their legs the whole fight. That does not make you a good fighter. That does not make you a good fighter. How are you supposed to fight
by like triple his total? If
you
have a bone to pick, I would say pick it.
Gabe,
if you have a bone to pick, I would say pick that bone with Bilal
No,
Muhammad.
I want to know, and I hate Bilal Muhammad as a champ, but I want to know though, Gabe, as the champ Sean O'Malley, right? Obviously, he has to reach down and extend his arms out since Merab's a dwarf in order to hit him anyways. So, let alone that, he's hugging his legs the whole time. It's like a caveman running up to a long-necked dinosaur and just hugging his leg. How are you supposed to hit it? What are you supposed to do at that point?
Sean had an answer for Aljamain Sterling, who has a very similar fight style that he's teammates with.
Dude, it's like a monkey jumping on my back and grabbing my neck. What am I supposed to do? Run him into the cage?
If Sean was able to put Aljo to sleep, why couldn't he do that?
What am I supposed to do here?
Very similar fight styles. They're similar in height.
He is not a good fighter. Listen, you know what?
Weighing at the same weight.
I'm going to make my call out right now. You ready for this?
Okay.
I'm about to call out some of the scariest people on the planet on this podcast right here, right now. Just because I can. I'm formally inviting, as the host of this podcast, Merab, Islam, Bilal Muhammad, and Dricus Duplessis, all on this podcast to tell all of them that they are the worst champions I have ever seen in UFC history and are ruining everything.
We don't condone this. That's all, Chris.
We gotta move on with the podcast.
Honestly,
let me just throw this.
Honestly, I'd love to see Chris say that to them on the podcast.
I will gladly say it to Dricus Duplessis because I despise him.
Are not in the same sentence. He throws his own body.
What are you talking about?
That Adesanya fight was insane, and then he finished him. That didn't even go 5 rounds.
Here we go again. The
all
UFC.
Right,
listen,
all right.
I'm gonna end it with this note before Jake or Ben goes. The UFC was better with Ngannou, Usman, and Adesanya running the league. It was 10 times better. Jake, go for it. Go for it.
All right.
By the way, Shevchenko, you make no sense that you're a champ at 36 years old. But go on, Jake.
Shevchenko's ridiculous. Yeah.
All right. My turn. Okay, so my player of the week, Chris, might get upset with this one too. Because I am notorious for picking the same player of the week. So I know it gets boring, but the thing is, Chris doesn't have these types of players on his team.
He does not.
He can't do it. He just physically can't do it. So my player of the week goes to Malik Neighbors. Finally,
third time on the podcast, bro.
And
Get something new.
I'm gonna keep picking him because he deserves it. Okay. He deserves to be my player of the week. He finally showed out and showed why he will become the best receiver in this draft, hopefully, and show that he is a bona fide superstar and will be one of the top receivers in the league.
Jake, Ben, before you say anything, Ben, Jake, you have proven to me that if Malik Neighbor sat on a throne and said, Jake, come feed me grapes, you would do it.
You would do the same for McGregor, AJ Brown, Brandon Graham.
I would not.
Fletcher Cox.
I would not.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead, Ben.
You're saying he's going to be the best in the rookie class, yet he didn't have the best week out of rookie wide receivers.
But
when you average them out, though, who are the better 2 weeks?
Marvin Harrison had only one good quarter, which it was a great quarter, but he did
Because they
nothing
were
the rest of
ahead
the
by
game.
30 points. They didn't need to
Yeah,
pass the ball.
And
but
would you
look at the
say he had a better
standings.
game if Malik Neighbors had
We
like
are
10
not about to
receptions?
down talk Marvin Harrison
We
Jr. on
won't.
this
But
podcast. I will
Ben,
not
He's great.
tolerate
He's
it.
great. Yes.
Ben, look at all of the not just rookie receiver numbers. Look at the all receiver numbers. Malik Neighbors is top 5 in almost every category besides touchdowns. So I'm just saying, Neighbors is him.
Jake, I have a question.
Yeah.
You saw those 10 receptions and the way he ran upfield, running after the catch and all this stuff. Which Giants receiver does he remind you of a little bit, just in the way that he plays? Because for me, I have
Kadarius Toney or OBJ? Which one?
Kadarius Toney.
No, Kadarius Toney against. Okay, what about Kadarius Toney against the Cowboys that one game?
Yes, okay,
That's what he reminded me of.
That
All
is
right,
completely valid. But I
Ben.
see flashes of Odell Beckham.
Ben,
Yeah, absolutely.
let's hear your player of the week.
All right. So mine is a player, but it's also an entire franchise. My player of the week
What are you,
is
Jake? When Jake went, I'm taking the whole Yankees.
No.
Yeah.
No. Mine is not positive. Mine is negative. My player of the week, we spoke on him a little bit, Bryce Young. Obviously, there's a lot to unpack here. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the player, and then I'm gonna talk about the franchise. First of all, Bryce Young in his career, his completion percentage so far is 59%. Nothing horrible, but there's reasons to that, and I will get to them. He has 11 touchdowns and 13 picks, which is horrible. He hasn't been very good in general. His adjusted yards per pass attempt, so yards per attempt, is only last season it was 5 yards. This season it is under 2 yards per attempt. Under 2 yards per attempt. His QB rating is 70. He has, in his career, taken 68 sacks in under 2 seasons, basically 1 full season of play, 18 games. That's insane. Now, it says a number of things. Number one, the Panthers last season did not set him up for success. That's number one. That's clear. This offseason, they tried to do better. They brought in some okay offensive linemen. They rebuilt the wide receiver core. Their running back room is pretty solid. They have a few guys that are NFL caliber running backs. But you look at it, and okay, he has excuses like he was set up bad last year. 100%. But I watch him. I've watched the tape. This guy is just not doing what he was good at in college. And he's also continued to be bad at what he was bad at in college.
Ben, I have a
This
question.
this guy has no pocket awareness at all. You know why Tom Brady is the GOAT? Is because he had the best pocket awareness of any quarterback all time. He did not take sacks. And obviously he's facing a ton of pressure. And he's a short quarterback. But he has no pocket awareness. He runs into sacks sometimes, which a bunch of quarterbacks in the league do now, but he does it at an insane rate. He doesn't know how to read a defense. He always looks at his first receiving option, and after that, if the play goes awry, it's over. He's lost pretty much all ability to scramble. He can't scramble at all. In college, he was a pretty mobile quarterback. Obviously, that was at Alabama, a completely different situation, but can't throw a deep ball, can't throw it over the middle of the field. I mean, what can this guy do? He can throw. I don't know what he can do. And you look at it, the Panthers are stuck in a place where they had to bench him. At first, when I first heard about this, I'm like, you're crazy. You're benching the number 1 pick that you traded so much for. I mean, you can look up the trade. All the viewers and you guys can look up the trade. It's insane what they gave up for him. And everybody, when that happened, was like, well, this isn't going to work out because trades up for quarterbacks rarely ever work in the NFL. It just doesn't work because you're trading all these assets that you need to build around a young quarterback. It never works.
I have a question, Ben.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where do you think if the Panthers have a top 3 pick in next year's draft, which they will, I think that's pretty obvious at this point. Do you think they press the reset button and draft a new QB, or do you think they trade down and try to get more assets for the future?
Here's what I think. There's a few things. Number one, they need more linemen. So I think if they have a top 3 pick, first of all, this QB class isn't very good. Carson, there's just not that many good quarterbacks.
Well, I would name
Jalen
5 first rounders.
I just don't think. I think, honestly, people don't even know who the first quarterback drafted is going to be. I think probably the first round picks, if I'm projecting, and this is a really far up projection, and you guys might not agree with this, Carson Beck, Jalen Milroe, and Drew Aller look to me to be the top 3 quarterbacks coming in the
And then
draft.
I think guaranteed first rounders are also going to be Quinn Ewers and Shedeur Sanders. I think they're going to sneak in.
Quinn Ewers, I don't know about. He has a lot of injury history. And
Yeah, but look at
honestly,
Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson barely played
But
football and then
they're-
got drafted.
they're not the same though.
Yeah.
I do agree. I do agree with I'm blanking on his name. The other guy who said who'd you say? Who was the other?
Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, Shedeur Sanders. Yes, I think there's some questionable off the field things with him. I know that whole Colorado program. I love Deion Sanders, but his press conference this week was insane when he said he wouldn't handle his players talking trash, even though they talk the most trash out of any team.
And I can't believe that he also blamed the offensive line for Shedeur Sanders' struggles. Like that was just crazy that Shedeur would even do that.
I just want you to know that he will not be Colorado's head coach next season. He's jumping ship immediately after he's getting hard carried by Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders.
Do you think he stays there since his other son Shiloh is there too? Do you think he waits for him to leave?
No chance.
Huh?
No chance.
Whoa, interesting.
He goes somewhere else. I've heard a lot of Florida schools, UCF, University of Florida, probably not
I'll
University
take
of
my
Florida.
Temple. I don't care. Like I don't care about all the red flags. I'll take him. We need somebody else.
Miami. If Miami isn't successful, maybe they look to bring him in. But back to what I was talking about I think Bryce Young is going to sit probably 2 games. I think Andy Dalton's going to steady the ship, get that offense going in the right direction, and then you bring Bryce Young back into that, and then you're like, okay, the offense is on a good roll there because Andy Dalton is a very solid NFL quarterback, no matter what anybody says.
The Red Rifle.
Can Bryce Young sit down, go in the film room, see what he did wrong, and see what he's good at? I don't see anything that he's good at, but I'm sure there's some stuff. Figure out what he can do right and move forward because he really needs to if he wants to not be seen as the biggest bust since Jamarcus Russell.
So okay, here's my thought. Right, it's more of a question. And it seems like an obvious question, but now I'm starting to think about it. I really don't know which way to go. Which way is the best way to integrate a rookie quarterback into a system, right? If you're the first, or what would you do if you had like the first overall pick, right? If you're the Panthers, right? Do you go quarterback and take Bryce Young and just hope that he makes something with nothing? Or do you look at like what a team with the Packers has done, which I mean, you got to like try to sign somebody, I guess, that's like a veteran quarterback that you draft them on.
You
spend 2
trade
years.
down.
Gabe, look at the best
You trade
quarterbacks of all
down.
time. Tom Brady, even though he technically started his rookie year, he was still drafted and was behind Drew Bledsoe. Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre. Patrick Mahomes was behind Alex Smith. Jordan Love was behind Aaron Rodgers. So I think obviously
compared to all those guys.
yeah, but he's an
Jordan Love's
example
good.
of this
Yeah,
league.
I know.
And even look at guys like Geno Smith. Geno Smith wasn't good when he started. He sat for a couple years, came back, and now he's an above average starting quarterback.
What does that say?
So
I hate to be that guy, but what does that say about Daniel Jones then?
Well, Daniel Jones also had 4 different head coaches in his time being a
I
Giant.
guess because I will never talk bad about Eli Manning.
Here's my thinking is I've seen it. I agree with what Jake said. I would even if it's Caleb Williams, I would not start a rookie quarterback week 1 ever. I don't. It very rarely.
Look at the stats.
Works out.
The last time that a rookie quarterback won week 1 was David Carr before Caleb Williams, and Williams didn't even score a touchdown.
We have to move on to our main segment. To end on Ben's finishing touches, the Panthers are in shambles. One last note. I don't think any of you 3 saw. They waived. I'm going to mess this up a little bit, but Eku Leota, who led the team in sacks with 1 and led the team in tackles for loss with 3. So
They waived them.
Oh, speaking of
they waived
wavings.
him.
Speaking of wavings,
Jalen Rieger. No.
Jalen Rager posted something on his story, basically calling out his haters, and then immediately got cut an hour later.
That is quite true. Moving on into football recap, then we'll do our predictions at the end. How we've been doing. I'm gonna leave us on a note, and then I'm gonna take us away with what I wanted to talk about, and then everybody else could pick a select game like how we did last time. The note that I'm gonna leave us with before I pick the game that we go into. It's kind of shocking to me that Gardner Minshew, Sam Darnold, and Derek Carr are practically the top 3 quarterbacks right now. Doesn't make any sense to anybody. I'm glad I picked Derek Carr against the Cowgirls, though.
Tell somebody in 2019 that this would be the MVP race right now, and nobody would believe you.
Moving on from that quick note, which we will touch back on if people wind up picking the games that those guys played in. Obviously, we'll give a quick review on each game, too, to try and bang them all out. To start off with the game that nobody's thinking that I'm going to pick, but I am going to pick it. The game that went down last night.
That's a shocker.
The game that went down last night.
Rants alert! To everyone telling me to go drink bleach, I'm not thirsty.
Eagles and Falcons, 22-21 Falcons. I am formally sending an invite to the podcast. Once again, obviously I did invite 4 UFC fighters tonight, but I'm about to go on a tangent. I've saved up and wrote down notes. I want you guys to kick your feet up, get comfy. I'm formally inviting I'm formally inviting a player. No, you know what? Matter of fact, 2 players, but there's 1 player that I'm ripping more than the other player. I've never ripped a player this hard in my life. Now, to give a little bit of input, Jake, you were not here on the podcast during this time. This dude threw his glasses on. You were not on the podcast at this time, but Ben and Gabe, I want you both to refer back to the Philly special episode if you know what I'm about to tune into. Because I went on a whole tangent in that episode, and this tangent's going to be just as good. So that formal invite, this dude's snacking over here. That formal invite goes out to none other than Bryce Huff. Clap it up for him, guys. Clap it up. Bryce Huff, do I have something to pick with you that I've saved up over the past 12, 13 hours of my life? Do you know why you wear the number 0, quote-unquote, Sub-Zero Bugatti, whatever you want to call yourself? Because that's your production right now, buddy. 0 tackles, nothing. You are nothing. Listen,
Ben,
you played in the league. You played in the league for 5 years at this point. What did you do before last year? 3 sacks, 4 sacks. Wow. I could pick anybody else in the league to do that. You're nothing special. You went undrafted for a reason. Like I said, to keep it going. You should never pay an undrafted player the type of money that he is getting paid. $51 million for 3 years. For what? Him to stare at Josh Sweat and for them to twiddle their thumbs together? Is that what we're doing here on a football field? I mean, I've stated for the longest time now that the problem with this team wasn't going to be the offense. It wasn't going to be this, that. I've been saying for years now that the problem was them getting rid of Hassan Reddick. It made no sense, and you wanted to pay these other guys because you want your team to be more well-rounded. Well, guess what? You could have paid 2 guys the same price that you're paying Bryce Huff. What does he do? Nothing. I said on the Jets' Instagram today, I said I'll give you the picks back and Bryce Huff just to take Reddick back because this is BS. You are nothing. You're literally nothing. The first second after the game ended last night, I jumped in Bryce Huff's comments and everybody's saying, where are you? You know you're bad when Hugh Douglas, please tell me everybody here knows who Hugh Douglas is. Okay, Hugh Douglas was great for the Eagles. You know you're bad when Hugh Douglas posts this about you. Contact your missing whereabouts to the Philadelphia Eagles. You are complete trash. You look like a rip-off Boston Scott. You are horrible. This is the worst contract. This is worse than Jalen Reagor times. You are awful, man. I'm known for being a huge defensive player, and I literally sat here and manifested all this to put together because the day we signed this guy, I was like, you know what? I'm giving him a chance. He pressured the quarterback last year. He did great. He had 11 sacks. But guess what? You went undrafted for a reason, and you're proving it today, buddy. Get off my team. If I was the coach, I would have kicked you and Sweat to the curb years ago. Get out of here. And next up, because I ain't done yet, Darius Slay, clap it up. You get an invite on here too. You're like 38 now, and you're letting cookies go to Drake London. He ain't even good. He's like not even top 5 in his draft class amongst receivers.
Did you see him dab up Drake London after the game too? Like, yo, good route.
Yeah. Good one, Darius Slay. Dab me up too. I sat home and watched the game and yelled at the friggin' TV. No, I didn't. I was actually at the game. But like I said, I can do the same thing. You gonna dab me up for watching the TV? Is that what we're doing here now? Are we being serious? Next up, Jalen Hurts. You get an invite here too.
Yeah,
You think I'm done with you? No. You want to limit turnovers, right? Right? That's what you want to do. 8 games in a row now with turnovers. You're 2-7 in your last 9. And listen, I hate to be this guy. I truly do. Because everybody knows I'm a diehard Philly guy. I love everything about Philly. Nick Sirianni, you're on the hot seat too, buddy. So stop acting up because you want to chase C.J. Gardner-Johnson down the line because he made a big play. Guess what? Get in your head. Lock in, buddy, because you're going too. And I will not care if Howie Roseman says, Jalen Hurts, you're gone. I'll live. I will live because I've had it up to here with Jalen Hurts. What have you done since 2022? What? Nothing. You let Marquez Vanda Skankling freaking get a touchdown at the end of the game in the Super Bowl. You let the Chiefs with no receivers kick your butt, and you've done nothing since. You sat there and you said, I just gotta work through it, man. I just gotta work through it. You work through what? You do nothing. All you do is bench in the offseason and make yourself look good just to do nothing. Congrats to your engagement, by the way, because you care more about that than your damn job, obviously, because you don't play football.
That's
Chris,
Like, this is horrible. This is horrible football.
Chris, I
Guys,
think you left out
one last thing before anybody gets to say anything about this game. To end it here, Britton Covey had more targets than Jahan Dotson and Dallas Goedert. Is there anything else I gotta say? We lost to Kirk Cousins on prime time.
Absolutely, Chris. There's one more person you forgot about. What about that $13 million you're giving to your running back?
Don't you ever talk bad on Saquon. Don't you ever talk
Bro,
bad on Saquon.
I can do whatever I want. He left my team. He left my team. I can do whatever I want. I
bad on
hate that guy. I hate that guy. You pay him
Saquon Barkley
top
is 2 times
dollar.
better than your entire roster.
Pay him top dollar to do what? To do what, Gabe?
Thanks,
To
Gabe.
drop balls?
Thanks,
To
Gabe.
drop balls? That's
Anytime.
crazy.
Can I just say?
Did you
this
not
is
pay
the
Kenny
second single player
Galladay
to
the
go,
same
right?
amount to drop balls?
And then we cut him. Unfortunately, you're not cutting Bryce Huff. You're not going to do it.
I'll do it. I will gladly
I bet
do
you
it.
will. I bet
I
you
will
will. We
ship
cut
him in a
Kenny Galladay.
container to his house, wherever he's from. I will gladly do it.
I want to, since I'm the other Eagles fan on here, I'm just going to, I won't go on a whole tangent, but what I will do is plug my Instagram, Lotman Productions.
Oh yeah, here we go again. Lotman Productions, like he said on number 3, RELAX. Relax. I'm not relaxed, Ben. Enough is
That
enough.
didn't seem like it helped.
But yeah, make sure you guys follow. I did a review of the Eagles game, which, by the way, I just want to let you know that took me like 3 hours to
unbiased?
edit. So
Was it unbiased?
it was very unbiased in my opinion.
No, it was not.
I mean, I think it was, but
Last
I
note, because I practically summed up the whole game for everybody. Bryce Huff, when I cut your contract, it's gonna go straight to Milton
Chris, I think
Williams
you
and,
forgot
and
someone
Thomas
else,
Booker
too.
the fourth.
I think you
What,
forgot
Jake?
someone else too, Chris. Your play calling, Vic Fangio, and that soft zone defense.
Whoa.
What do you mean?
I'm
Whoa,
gonna
whoa,
wait
whoa!
before you
Can I
say
just explain
anything. I'm gonna
something to you?
give Vic Fangio a little bit more of a chance because he turned it around in the second half of the season with Miami last year. So I'm gonna give him some leniency.
Here's what I have to explain this to everybody. That's Vic Fangio's defense. He gives
Exactly.
up. He gives
Why
up
would you
yards.
guys sign somebody that does that?
He gives up yards from the 20 to the 20, and then just gives up field goals. The defense, look, the fact that we only gave up 22 points to the Atlanta Falcons that have a solid offense when we do not
No,
have
it
a
is not a
defensive
solid
line.
offense.
No.
It is not a solid offense, Ben. Don't say that. Ben, don't say that. It is not a solid offense.
Okay.
It is not a solid
they
offense.
They have,
They
top
have
five offensive
Bijan
line.
Robinson, and that is it, bro.
They have a
Do you
top
know
five
how many
offensive line.
Falcons fans I seen walk into my house yesterday wearing Kyle Pitts jerseys? A player who has not hit 1,000 yards in 4 seasons. 4. And I seen about 30 Pitts jerseys. 30. What sense does that make? And if you want to
Dude,
say
good
good
Florida.
offense,
Very
who
good at
who
Florida.
besides Bijan? Tyler Algier,
I mean, they have a
Kyle
really good
Pitts,
offensive line,
Drake
but-
London, Darnell Mooney.
Ben,
Darnell
here's the
Mooney
thing,
got
though.
cut from the Bears with no receivers at the
Ben,
time.
here's the thing, though. Although Vic Fangio has been in this league for a long time, everybody knows what he's going to play call because he's been running the same defense since 2007.
All right. Listen,
Since
Okay, but
2007.
There's a reason
Listen,
he's still. There's a reason
we
he's still
need
in the league.
to
He's
we
a
need
good
to
defensive
move
coordinator.
into the other
Yeah.
games.
Yeah. Let's.
I just have one thing to say real quick, and it's directed at Jake. Just like imagine if their like entire team is a fraud this year and they actually go like 5-12 or something like that. That would be amazing.
Well, that's.
And
not
I just
happening.
jinxed the entire thing, and they're definitely gonna have like a perfect
Knock on
record
wood.
after
Knock
this
on wood
game,
right
but
now. Knock on
that'd
wood
be
right now.
amazing.
We're still.
Also,
Nick
we're
Sirianni
still
sucks. I
making
don't know
the
why his team
So-
is that
Don't get it
talented. We don't
twisted.
even
Don't
talk
get it
about that.
twisted. Don't get it twisted. We're still making the playoffs, and we're
I
still
know,
better
but
than.
why is Sirianni not on the hot seat
Hey,
already?
hey,
He lost like
hey,
8
guys.
He should
games
be.
last year.
He
Guys,
should be.
wait. Are you ready for this transition? We're still better than the team that lost 44-19 this week. The Dallas Cowboys.
True.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
This is
Stephen
gonna be
A.
my
Smith
game.
is
I want to touch
angry.
on. I won't go as long on it,
Make it
But-
quick. Make it quick.
but I mean, what happened? I mean,
Stephen
people
A.
are
Smith.
people are talking about how bad the Eagles played. They didn't give up 44 points. I know.
That's 'cause-
I know. Next week we might because we're playing the Saints, so I don't want to speak too soon. But man, this Dallas offense just doesn't look very good to me. I know they've played 2 good defenses in a row, but I've watched. I got to see both of the entire Cowboys games, and Dak Prescott doesn't look like he's all there. I mean, he's been pretty inaccurate on a lot of throws. He had 2 picks this week. The running game is non-existent because when you decide that a washed Ezekiel Elliott is going to be your starting running back, you're kind of screwed. And while they have a good defense, they're very susceptible to the run. So, I mean, not as susceptible as the Eagles, who have the worst rushing defense in the league, but still, I mean, the NFC East might be the worst division in football, guys. I'm not even
Maybe. Usually we're the best, which is crazy.
sadly we have the
Moving
Giants.
on.
Yeah,
Some other games. Well, there was the 49ers and the Vikings.
that was surprising.
I
Very
guess Sam
surprising.
Darnold doesn't only just beat up on the Giants, eh?
I'll say this.
Yes.
If Sam Darnold has the Geno Smith arc, I'm all for it. I am all for Sam Darnold.
Are you?
becoming a
Even
good
after 28 to
QB.
6?
Wait.
Yeah.
Where do those 2 quarterbacks start their careers again? Oh yeah, the New York Jets, who are probably one of the worst franchises in the NFL because
They don't know how to develop
Um,
quarterbacks.
they don't know how to win football games.
So
That's
yeah,
it.
guys,
don't.
it was pretty funny that the Niners backup Jordan Mason is actually pretty good.
Yeah, and the
Right.
cool thing about him
Pretty
as well
funny
is
that they
he
still
was-
lost though.
The funny thing about Jordan Mason, I believe he never. I forget if this is the exact stat. I believe he was never named starting running back in since his high school career. Like he never started a game in college. So when he
Mhm.
started a game in week 1 with the 49ers, that was like a big deal for him, and he showed out.
Yeah.
So good for him. He's been balling, but
Um,
unfortunately, no matter how good Mason can do, CMC comes back, he's going to be replaced. It sucks for Mason, but
Obviously.
that's gonna happen.
Obviously there was a Seahawks Patriots game, 23-20. DK Metcalf went off. That's an obvious. Patriots finally aren't unbeaten anymore, even though they only won one game. There was the Commanders
It's better than I
Giants.
expected, though. I
There
must
was the
say.
Commanders Giants,
It
21
was,
to 18, since the Giants tried to go for 3 2-point conversions. It did not hit on any.
We had to.
Um,
Unfortunately.
Jaden
Graham
Daniels is
Minot
still that
got hurt.
guy. Still better than
No, he's
Caleb
not. He had a
Williams.
He was
bad game.
He really did not look that great,
Um,
honestly.
He didn't have a
score any
touchdown.
touchdowns.
Chargers 26-3 blowout. I'm not surprised. It's the Panthers.
Well, I guess the Panthers, yeah, but the Chargers.
It's the Panthers without Derek Brown on their defense, so they're practically left with nobody on the defense at that point.
No better defense.
Colts Packers 16-10 Packers.
Malik
Wow.
Willis had almost a perfect game.
Yeah,
I feel
Anthony
bad for-
Richardson somehow losing that game to me is laughable.
I feel bad for whoever had to
Um,
watch that game.
Browns Jags 18-13 Browns. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I
With
predicted it,
Deshaun
baby.
Watson,
I'll
at
go-
QB, it doesn't make any sense. But
Yeah, I'll do the breakdown after this, but I predicted it. So
Yo, Jags, could as an Eagles fan, can we
Jets.
trade head coaches, Jacksonville?
and
I'm down.
Okay, and also Trevor Lawrence is a fraud. Just get that in your head. He's a fraud.
Jets,
Look at his stats.
It's like every
Jets,
Look at the
Titans. There was 24 Jets, Titans 17.
Aaron
I
Rodgers
expected
sucked,
it.
honestly, in my
I
opinion.
expected it. Will Levis is pretty bad. I think we've touched base on that. Sorry, Ben. I hate to be that guy, but your favorite quarterback stinks.
No, he's not very good.
That's
The
why you're gonna be
Buccaneers and
wearing
Lions. What a banger. 20-16 Buccaneers. Baker beat up on Jared Goff.
Fake punt. We had a fake punt in this
Baker
game.
is that guy.
Jack Fox has
um,
4 complete career completions in the NFL.
Upset alert. The Raiders beat the Ravens 26-23. The Ravens are 0-2 on the season. Another upset alert. The Cardinals beat the Rams 41-10.
Is that an upset though?
Yes.
I was,
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I guess
I
that
had the
is-
Ravens.
100% it
I think
is.
Ben was
One
were you
team
the
was
only person that
projected
picked
to make the
Cardinals?
playoffs. The other wasn't.
So,
I told you exactly how that game would go, pretty much.
There
I
was
thought
the
that
Steelers and Broncos game, which was 13-6
easy.
in favor of the Steelers. Very low scoring.
The
it's still a
Steelers are
winning game,
probably
by the way.
the current Steelers are probably going to be the worst good team in NFL history.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
we
the
could
thing
tell.
is,
We could tell,
they-
Ben. You already dropped George Pickens in our fantasy league. We could tell.
And they might be good enough to the point where they're not going to be able to draft a QB next year, so they might be stuck with what they have.
Bears Texans game. Caleb Williams once again. 19-13. Texans. Stroud beat up on Caleb Williams. Not a shocker. And for the last game that I wanted to talk about before our predictions. Chiefs Bengals. Wow, refs.
What a game.
Wow, refs.
Well,
No, before you say anything, first off, obviously there was like 10 different calls with the refs and the Eagles last night. That aside, really on the last real big play of the game,
Well,
when
I mean,
there's
the
an
Chiefs
obvious
were getting-
hold, and there's this chance that Patrick Mahomes could win the game. Why aren't you going to give it to him already? We know you want him to three-peat. We know you guys don't care about football and the fans. You just want the Chiefs to win again.
Well,
That's all you want. You're
don't
all
forget-
slaves in a cult. You're all slaves in a cult. That's how it works.
Chris,
Chiefs
don't
never
Roger
get
forget.
that
Goodell,
how
we're
it
officially
works.
inviting you on the
Like,
podcast. Roger Goodell.
Roger Goodell.
Yo,
Don't
I actually
forget-
know someone who has Roger Goodell's number, so he could get him on here.
Whoa.
Shout
I'm
out,
sure he would come
shout
on.
out my guy, Liam Gianelli.
Liam
Okay.
Gianelli has Roger
There's
Goodell's
no way.
Yes, he does.
Um,
You can ask him.
wow.
He might show you.
Okay, Chris. I think the one thing you're forgetting about this game is that the Bengals lost by a field goal, and if Jamar Chase didn't do the personal foul and just pretty much crash out on the field, then they would have hit the field goal and they would have had the lead.
There was
So
still an obvious hold in a
I
very
know, but
crucial play,
but it's like
and nothing was called.
you can't overlook them. They would have had the lead if Jamar Chase didn't do that. Which I understand he's frustrated. He's not doing as good as he wants, and he's still looking for the contract. So of course he's going to be angry. But when your coach has to pull you aside coming off of the field, your star receiver, and go, "Yo, you need to settle down," that is crazy to me. You shouldn't have to do that to your star player who should be leading by example.
What about a normal player for that matter?
No, you're an adult, dude. Like, come on, don't be like a little baby and start being like, "Oh, I didn't get the ball."
Is that an at towards all the players?
Yeah, it is.
Every
At
single
Ray
player
at Ray
come on this podcast.
McLeod, grow up, you big baby. Ray
Every single
McLeod, grow
player.
up.
At Jalen Hurts.
And
you
Ray
suck.
McLeod, if you ever lay a finger on CJ Gardner-Johnson again, your career will be
Well,
haunted.
okay. Well, Gardner Johnson needs to chill and stop talking for a little bit, but
Actually, CJ Gardner-Johnson ripped out his mouthpiece. That wasn't
True.
very seeding, but like he did. But like at the same time, CJ Gardner-Johnson, don't you ever lay a finger on him again, because you went to Clemson and you're a complete bust, buddy. This is why you play for the Falcons, because you're trash. Okay,
all right.
let's get back in the head.
Yeah. Do we want to go into the
predictions?
prediction breakdown?
Yay!
want
Let
me
us
to
hear
cook?
the records and then
Woo!
start hitting us with games.
For the record, I am undefeated in both my fantasy leagues. Jake, go ahead.
Awesome. All right. So going into the breakdown of week 2, we'll start from
Let's
the
hear
bottom
who's fourth.
and go to the top.
Who's
Starting
fourth?
In the future, entertainment will be randomly generated.
Randomly generated?
Randomly generated. What better way to achieve the unexpected? I've seen the future, Bob, and the future is autotainment.
fourth place. Unfortunately, our first person being under 500 this year, which it might happen to all of us, we're not sure. Ben Lotman, you are fourth place. Your predictions this week weren't awful. You just didn't have any big wins. So it's like you chose the Dolphins, you chose the Niners to win, which we all chose. Your worst loss of the week was the Titans over the Jets. Can't believe you still chose that. But I mean, you chose the Panthers last week.
I got peer pressure, guys.
You chose the Panthers last week. No, a lot of questions there.
Hey, how about the Cardinals, though?
Place.
How about the
True.
Cardinals, though?
Your biggest win, let me say your biggest win as well. Your biggest win was with the Arizona Cardinals beating the Rams. Everyone else picked the Rams. So the Cardinals did win, and that did help you a lot, but you're still in last place at 15-17. Coming in at third place, we no longer have a three-way tie.
Like I said, I'm undefeated in both my fantasy leagues. Go ahead.
Coming in third place, that probably gives it away. No more three-way tie. We're at third, Gabe, 16-16. You are at 500. You did have a very bad week, unfortunately. Your worst loss, you didn't have any terrible losses where you were the only one to pick a team. But you did pick the Giants. I picked the Giants too, unfortunately. That hurt you.
We always beat the Commanders.
Exactly. But
whatever their team name is, we always beat them.
Graham Gano got hurt. Can't do anything about that. Unfortunately, you also lost a couple consensuses, like the Colts, we all lost. The Jaguars, you guys came to a consensus. The Rams, you guys came to a consensus. The Eagles, so you just lost everything that you shouldn't have lost, basically. Coming in at second place, well, your biggest win as well. You didn't really have a big win this week. The Jets were an obvious winner, I think. Coming in at second place, 18-14, one game behind first place, is Chris Borgia. Chris, you looking at
had the biggest win out of the whole week.
Everything. I would say you didn't have the biggest win, but you had a top win this week. The Saints beat the Cowboys. Everyone else picked the Cowboys. And you basically stayed within everyone else's range as well. Your other big win was the Commanders. But the Seahawks you picked, we all picked them. The Chargers, the Chiefs, the Steelers, they all won. So you didn't do anything wrong this week. You just did one really you did one really good thing in the Saints. And now that comes to first place. It is me, Jake is in first place, 19-13, one game above
record.
Chris. I had an amazing week. I had the Bills, who nobody else picked. I had the Browns that nobody else picked. And I had the Falcons that nobody else picked. All the other picks were pretty consensus. So I am 19-13 going into week 3, which we will start right now.
Thursday night football. Patriots Jets. The rivalry in the AFC East.
Aaron Rodgers did not look great against Tennessee. I'm not gonna lie. I was watching that game alongside the Giants one.
He did not.
Underthrowing some balls, just misplacing them. Did not look great.
Do we know if Jacoby Brissett's still starting?
He is.
Yes.
He is? That is my answer. Cool. Okay, so go ahead, guys.
So you're picking the Patriots?
No, I am picking the Jets. The Jets are going to beat the Patriots.
I don't feel. I'm not feeling very confident about this, but I'm going the Jets. But I'm not confident about that.
For your fantasy team, you have what's his face?
Reese
Hall. So you want them to win.
Solid. He's been solid.
Yeah, number 2 overall pick.
I'm gonna go Jets.
Okay.
Consensus.
Hey, you guys called me out on that number 2 pick. So far, it's looking pretty solid.
I did
Well,
not.
you're
I was all
0-2.
for it.
You are 0-2, Ben. I don't know how solid.
Next up, we have the Giants and Browns.
Guys, I'm so I gotta go Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
Are they starting Deshaun or are they starting Jameis?
No, Deshaun actually played. All I want to say is Deshaun Watson low-key played a pretty good game last week. But
he did.
You guys, it is entirely possible you guys get shut out this week. I would not be surprised.
I'm gonna go with the Browns. I'm gonna go with the Browns. Amari Cooper is gonna have his first good game of the year.
Chris, we do have a kicker now. If that influences your decision.
Yeah. Gabe, what
does
is
not?
I'm going Browns.
Probably gonna get her on the first play again.
We got 2. We actually have 2 now. We have 2 kickers now on the roster.
Jake,
someone else.
Gabe.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with it's called the emotional hedge. But basically what you do is whenever you bet, usually it's in betting, sports betting.
You pick your team.
You pick against your favorite team. So that way, if your favorite team loses, you win some money. If your favorite team wins, your favorite team wins.
Yeah.
I am going to be doing this a decent amount. I also honestly think that the Browns are going to win this game. I'm not confident in Daniel Jones.
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
And unfortunately, our second consensus is not going to happen. I'm going with the Giants, and I have a valid reason, okay?
You pick the Giants every week.
Reason. I'm allowed to. You pick the Eagles every week, and they lost. So, basically, the Giants' defense played very good last week, and week 1, they had 3 turnovers. And Deshaun Watson is not a good quarterback anymore. So, I think the premier matchup this week, it's going to be a defensive battle. It's going to be the Giants offense and the Browns defense. Whoever wins those 2 matchups or that matchup is going to win the whole thing, because I think Browns offense and Giants defense is going to stalemate and nothing's going to happen. So I think it's whoever wins the defensive matchup with the Browns and the offensive matchup with the Giants. And I trust my team. Daniel Jones is going to build off of last game, and I think he's going to have another above average game. So I'm going with the Giants.
I really hope so. I really hope so.
I think you're overrating a performance against a horrible Commanders team, but
it's a stepping stone. You have
that aside.
It's fair enough.
The next game is Eagles and Saints. And Jake, you can say I pick my team every week all you want. I'm going with the Saints.
I'm also going with the Saints.
That's not even fun anymore. I'm not having fun. This is not fun. I hate when Eagles fans do this. Gabe, I hate when Eagles fans do this. They lose one game and then they're like, "Yeah, we're supposed to lose." Yeah, that's
no.
We call
nobody said that.
The Saints
nobody
have been the best team in the league, dude. The Saints have been the best team in the league.
Nobody said that. The Saints are not only the best team in the league. I'm picking the Saints until they decide to get a new edge rusher. And actually, until they decide to get 2 new edge rushers and a new cornerback and a new quarterback.
You could call me crazy, but the Eagle, obviously, this is ahead. But after the Saints, we play the Buccaneers. If we lose to the Buccaneers, Nick Sirianni could be the first coach fired in the league. And I don't even call me crazy, but
we will lose to the Bucs. What do you mean?
Vic Fangio.
We will lose to the Bucs.
I would love Kellen Moore as our head coach, to be honest. He's a great offensive coordinator. But anyway, what are your guys' picks?
This is so tough.
Saints.
Like
it's not tough. It's not tough.
It's
No, because I gotta
It's
stick with
not.
the emotional hedge to some extent, right? It can work against teams that you don't like, so I could pick the Eagles here. Be happy if they lose.
Underdogs.
Honestly,
We're underdogs. We're good. Philly teams are always great as underdogs, I will say.
you're playing in New Orleans.
Yes.
Jake, do you have a pick before me?
Yeah. Do you still need time? I'm picking the Saints. The Eagles. I mean, it's going to be the premier matchup for this one is going to be offense for both sides. It's going to be whoever wins between, I think, the Saints defense and the Eagles offense, because the Eagles offense was questionable yesterday. So I think whoever wins that wins the game. And I think the Saints defense are going to win.
Who did the Saints have last week? They had, why am I forgetting?
Cowboys.
Oh, the Cowboys.
Yeah. And also
They
Hurts
haven't-
8 games
they
in a row
haven't-
with a turnover, make it 9 for this week. So
They had the Panthers
Gabe,
and the Cowboys, two premier
What's your
offenses in the NFL, as we
pick,
all know.
Gabe?
I'm going with the Eagles. I'm gonna break up the consensus.
whoa, awesome.
Yeah. My gut's telling me the Eagles are gonna win.
Texans, Vikings. I'm going with Texans. I think that's an easy one.
am I
Sam
allowed to-
Darnold. Sam Darnold's gonna get his first loss.
Am I allowed to put an asterisk on my pick that if somebody plays, because I don't know if they're going to play or not, it's going
No.
to change my pick?
No.
Okay, fine. I'm going to go Houston. I'm going to pray that Joe Mixon plays, but if he doesn't, they're going to get cooked. But
Not true.
You don't like Noah Obagamwali? Oh, you don't like Noah?
I don't dislike
No,
him.
I thought the
just-
backup running back is Damian Pierce.
Nah, he's their punt returner now, bro. He's like third on the depth chart.
That's no,
Yeah,
but
Damian Pierce sucks, man.
I'm going Houston. I know they kind of didn't do as well as expected on Sunday night, but I think this Minnesota team is going to slow down, and I don't think they can keep up the pace
Jake.
they've been on.
I
Texans.
am going Texans. They're my Super Bowl pick for the AFC this year, so I'm gonna stick with it. They're going 3-0.
Gabe.
You all went Texans, right?
Yeah.
And I'll make
Don't
it a
go
consensus.
against it.
Okay.
I don't know. I think Minnesota is going to be a good team this year, but
This
I mean,
next
obviously,
game-
they had some good games.
This next game is gonna be a consensus. Broncos, Buccaneers. Give me Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, we don't. need to
Not
talk
even
about that.
close. They're gonna smoke them.
Agreed.
All right. Well, that one's a consensus for you, Jake. Ben, pick the Titans. Pick the Titans. Pick the Titans. Pick the Titans. Packers.
Hold on, let me see what I actually picked.
I really like what Will Levis has been doing here.
No, you're
Will Levis
lying.
also made like 2 like most funny pictures of all time after the first 2 weeks.
Oh yeah,
The first week he was like this on the ground on his knees, and
Are
the
you
second
being
week he was, like,
serious that
got-
you are
he was,
all
like,
about to pick
diving for it.
Titans?
I am.
He's actually about to pick
Okay.
Titans.
Can I just say I'm legitimately picking the Titans? Last week it was pure pressure. This week I'm legit picking them because I'm sorry,
You're
but
actually doing it.
I know Will Levis is bad, but he's better than Malik Willis.
Whoa.
He's better. He's better. He's better. Don't tell me he's not, because he took his job. He took his
Can
job.
I-
He's
Can
better.
I do my answer now?
Yeah, I'm going Titans though.
I'm going
Tighten up.
Packers because
I'm
last
also
week
going Packers.
week
Packers for me,
Malik
too.
Willis almost had a perfect passer rating.
And
So I'm
beat
gonna go
Anthony
Malik Willis.
Richardson.
Times.
He
They-
beat
you know, I
Anthony Richardson, who is better than Will Levis. He beat the
Exactly.
Colts, who were a better team than the
The
Titans.
Titans are going to have a much better game plan going into this week. All you have to do is stop the Packers from running the ball, and you're going to win.
But then Malik Willis could have a perfect passer rating and then beat
He
them
threw
on
the ball
in the-
14 times.
That's
Don't
fine.
even with that, bro. Don't
That's
even.
fine.
Tighten up,
Speaking,
baby.
Better defense.
speaking of Anthony Richardson, the Colts are playing against the Bears. And guess what?
Chris,
I
know
am
you-
not
you gotta
picking
stick with your
Anthony
boy. You gotta
Richardson.
stick with your boy Caleb Williams.
I am
You're
not
going
picking
with
Anthony
Caleb
Richardson.
Williams?
I'll give the Bears their first win.
Second one.
That's crazy.
That'd be their second
Yeah,
one.
second win. Second
So
win.
wait, why are they gonna win? Because Caleb Williams is gonna go off?
Yeah, Caleb Williams is going to go off. That's what he just said.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, 'cause he
Caleb
loves
Williams
Caleb
is going to
Williams.
have a somewhat good game.
Is he getting his first career touchdown?
Yes.
I'm going with
Yes, he will.
Indianapolis. I like what this Indianapolis team has. Anthony Richardson is so, but I think he's gonna have a good week. So I'm
You
going.
too?
I feel like talent-wise, Anthony Richardson could be like the John Moran of the NFL just because he's so talented, but like so just like everywhere. I'm going John Moran of the NFL. I'm going Indianapolis.
Jake,
Wow.
2-on-2, Jake.
It is going to be a 2-on-2 because the Bears
Any
defense is
athleticism
really good.
by the way.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears defense is so good. Obviously, they won week 1 without getting an offensive touchdown. And also, I just think that the Colts, like, I just have a gut feeling that they're going to go 0-3 and then, like, have a good comeback, like, in the middle of the year. So I
Agreed.
just think they're going to go 0-3. So the Bears are going to win.
Agree. Next up, we have the Chargers and the Steelers, and this one's definitely not going to be a consensus, but I'm going with the Chargers.
This is the hardest game of the week, in my opinion, to pick.
I agree, but I'm going with the Chargers. I'm rocking with Jay Herbo. J.K. Dobbins game.
I honestly don't know if
Once
this is going to
again.
happen, but I want this to happen. I'm picking the Chargers only because I cannot see this Pittsburgh Steelers team going 3-0. I would be so upset. I know way too many Steelers fans. I just can't. I just there's no way this team starts off 3-0. Although maybe they'll be the Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day that started off like 14-0 and then lost in the first round of the playoffs.
And we all knew that they were frauds. So I'm gonna predict a 10-10 draw. Can we go tie?
Do you want to?
No, I do not.
Wait, okay,
But
Gabe, I will tell you this.
That could happen, I feel like.
Gabe, if you predict a draw, I will right now tell you that you get +5 under your standing record for wins.
I don't think I want to do that. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh just because they always seem to win games that like are stupid. But I could like low-key, I could also see a 10-10 tie.
What are you
I'm not gonna lie,
picking,
this
Jake?
is the most tie game I've ever seen.
Yeah, it definitely is.
The thing with me being in first place now is that now I have to start playing chess and not checkers. And if you notice, me and Chris pretty much have the same predictions all week so far, besides the Giants and the Browns. And I'm not doing that on purpose just to be like, oh, I want to stay in the lead. I'm doing that because it's like, that's what I believe in. But also, like, I do got to start playing like a little bit of mind games. But I still think the Chargers are going to win.
I guess going into week 3.
You're in last. You're in last. You can't talk.
Next
I'm
up,
not going to be last after this week.
we have the Dolphins and the Seahawks, and I'm actually going to be picking the Seahawks for this game. I don't think Tyler Huntley is that guy to carry the Dolphins to a win.
That's who's starting for them?
I thought Skylar Thompson was starting for them.
Nope, they picked up Tyler Huntley.
The
off
Pro
the
Bowler?
off the Ravens practice squad. Yeah, if you don't know, there's like a crazy Dolphins fan who says some really stupid stuff on TikTok, and he was going crazy like, yeah, we just picked up a Pro Bowl quarterback. Yeah, that's on the practice squad.
Chris, I didn't know that, and so I'm switching my prediction. I'm picking the Dolphins. I like Tyler Huntley a lot.
Yeah, I think he's pretty good.
I
This
think
is his first week with the team.
I think I do.
He's not adapted to that offense or anything, bro.
He's a very mobile quarterback. I think Mike McDaniel could do some really fun stuff with him in the backfield.
Have fun with that pick.
I think I'm in the bottom of the standings. I gotta make some crazy predictions. So I'm gonna go Dolphins.
I think there's a reason Ben is at the bottom of the standings because he is picking the Dolphins. So I'm going with the Seahawks.
Gabe, you picked the Dolphins too, didn't you?
I did pick the Dolphins.
Whoa.
Yeah, I like Tyler Huntley. I think he's not bad actually.
This next game is going to be a funny consensus unless if Ben has a change of mind here with this one.
I don't know if Tyler Huntley's going to start this week, though. So
Ben, I dare you to pick this next team against me, Jake, and Gabe. I dare you. I will laugh so hard if you do. Panthers, Raiders.
Do it.
You going to give Andy Dalton his game? You going to give Andy Dalton his game, Ben?
Give the Red Rifle his game.
I'll do it. Panthers.
Really?
Just kidding. No. I'm going with the Raiders, bro. No.
Give Andy Dalton his game. Now it's going to be
There's a
consensus with the
punishment on the line.
Raiders.
I did a meme pick last week because I'm so confident in my prediction skills that I'm going to get it back.
Wow.
I'm not doing 2 in a row. I'm not
doing
Here's
the thing.
Ben, Skylar Thompson is starting for Miami.
Oh, you can't. Too late. Can't change it.
Too late.
Whatever. We're rocking Miami. It's fine.
They'll probably
How do you know that he started? It said Tyler Huntley was going to start.
They already said. I just looked it up.
It was a report from like 2 hours ago, I think.
Well,
okay.
Raiders for all 4, Jake, is your answer.
Yes, but I'm going to say this. It's a lot harder to pick than you think even though the Panthers are terrible,
The
it
Raiders
just
just
seems
beat
like
the Ravens, bro.
it seems like a Raiders thing to do to beat the Ravens and then lose to the Panthers. I'm not gonna lie,
It would be.
but
I think this
I'm still picking the Raiders. But this is the best chance the Panthers have had all season to win a game.
bet of the
Next
week.
up,
Bet of the week, Panthers to cover, whatever the spread is.
we have
I
the
like that.
Niners and the Rams. And in my opinion, this one should be a consensus. Now, it wouldn't have been before the season, but I'm picking the Niners specifically since Puka and Cooper Kupp are both out.
Yeah, and their defense looked horrible.
And not
I
even
agree.
just Puka and Cooper Cup, dude. There's like 9 people that they had to put on IR already. It's just not fair. If you're a Rams fan, it's just not fair.
Yeah,
But
it's
watch for
unfortunate.
like the DeMarcus Robinson and I think it's
Tyler
is it Ben
Johnson?
Colby
Tyler
Parkinson.
Johnson. Yeah, just wait for their career games because that's what's happening. They're going to be fantasy sleepers this week. But I'm also going with the Niners.
Ben, Gabe.
The Niners.
Yeah.
All right,
Bang,
consensus.
bang, Niner
I
game.
mean, Kyron Williams, please do something for me in fantasy, bro.
Oh,
Like, you're
absolutely.
having-
Yes,
It's
please.
not bad. Like, I'll take my
Lions,
game,
broke
but,
my-
like,
Lions, Cardinals. I'm gonna take the Lions.
I'm gonna take the
Cardinals had a
Lions.
good game last week, but it's a lot harder against the a healthy Lions team compared
Guys,
to an unhealthy Rams team.
I told you what this Cardinals team is. They don't have any defense, but they're gonna. I mean, they had decent defense last week, but also the Rams' entire team got hurt. They don't have defense, but they're gonna have a top 10, maybe top 5 offense. But I think Detroit has a good defense, can slightly slow them down, and their offense is gonna cook this week. So watch it. Amon-Ra St. Brown, people, if you have him in fantasy, he's gonna go off this week. So
I
I'm
agree.
going.
Everyone Lions.
I'm
I don't know
going
if there's any
Lions.
takers.
Yeah, I'm also going Lions. I just think that Dan Campbell's going to be pissed that he lost against the Bucks, and they're going to go out and just destroy the Cardinals.
This game's definitely not gonna be a consensus on this next one. Cowboys, Ravens. Guess what, guys? The Ravens will not go 0-2. The Ravens will not go 0-2. That's not gonna happen. That is not
already
gonna
are.
happen. That is not, or 0-3. I meant they're not going 0-3. I meant. I'm picking the Ravens. They're not gonna lose 3 games in a row. No way.
I
No
agree.
way. Especially after Dallas got spanked last game. No way.
I am
No way.
I'm also going Ravens. God, I have one of these games. You guys are gonna call me crazy for who I'm picking.
I'm going Baltimore.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about, and
You're
I
also
might
going
side with you.
Ravens?
Yeah.
Alright.
This is not a consensus. I'm going with the Cowboys because, first of all, just like the Colts, I feel like the Ravens to start out 0-3 and then make the playoffs would be a great storyline. Number 2, the Ravens O-line this year is awful, and the Cowboys pass rush is one of the best in the league with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. And Mozzie Smith, I believe they have too, a D
Yeah.
tackle.
Yeah.
So I think Lamar's
He
going to be on the
stinks.
run. I think Lamar's going to be on the run all game, and he's just never going to be able to plant his feet and throw downfield. So I think the Cowboys are going to run away with this one, and the Ravens are starting 0-3.
Mozzie Smith stinks.
He does. I thought he was good.
No. I cannot wait. I've never rooted for this team a day in my life until this Sunday night football game. Because for some reason we have 2 Monday night football games. I don't know why. But we
Money,
do.
money,
I'm just realizing that now.
money.
I'm just realizing that now. We
Wait.
have 2 Monday night
Yeah,
football
wait.
games.
What is that schedule? And they're
It's
both over
7:30.
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
Hold
in
on,
and
don't
8
spoil the
o'clock
game.
in.
Don't spoil the game yet. Don't spoil the
Yeah,
game.
I won't.
Money, money,
I've never rooted for this team a day in my life because everybody knows I cannot stand a single player on this team. But at this current moment, I have so much hate and heat within my body. Give me the Chiefs. I hope they demolish you guys by 70 points. I hope Kirk Cousins gets put on a platter and sent back to Minnesota. I hope the worst of the worst comes. I hope Drake London looks like, what's his face? Brandon Cooks after the Malcolm Jenkins hit in the Super Bowl. That's how I hope Drake London looks.
That's crazy.
Give me the Chiefs by 70. 70.
Chiefs by 70.
Jake, when
I'm
it
also
comes
gonna-
time for you to make your new Instagram post, you can write biggest win with Chiefs on it. For me.
I'm also going with the Chiefs.
Wow.
No,
Travis
everybody
Kelce-
else go
Travis
Falcons.
Travis Kelce over 100 yards.
For the two Eagles haters, go pick the Falcons. I dare you both.
I'm going with Kansas City. I'm not gonna.
Ooh.
I'm here to win. I'm not here to upset you guys. Although I do like doing both.
Jake, do it.
Here's-
Do it, Jake.
Here's
Do
the
it.
thing.
Do it, Jake. Do it.
Last week,
Do
I
it,
was
Jake.
on
Do
an
it.
island for 3 games, and I won all 3 games.
Do it,
And
Jake.
this
Do it.
week, I'm on an island for 3 games once more. I'm going with the Falcons, and this is why. This is why. The Falcons, first of all, just beat the Eagles. The Eagles are a good team, so they're gonna have the momentum. They're gonna have the momentum going into next week. Number
And guess
2,
what? Guess
Number
what,
2.
Jake? The
Well,
Falcons
she's still
aren't
on a
going to win
game-winning
another
field
game
goal.
this year. The Falcons won't win another game this year because
Okay.
I'm going to be picking the
That's a-
Falcons every week just to make sure they lose.
okay, but also, I don't know if you guys remember Monday night already. I guess you guys wiped it from your memory. Their secondary is really good, like really good.
Oh.
Bro,
And
we were down
Patrick Mahomes-
one of the best receivers in the league.
Wow, their secondary is really good against Devontae
Okay.
Smith and Brent
Yeah.
Covey.
And Devontae Smith is on par, probably still better than Rashee Rice, and Xavier Worthy's there, and Travis Kelce is there. So it's like I think
Carson Steele.
yeah, oh yeah, okay, but Barkley also didn't have that great of a game.
Bro,
So
Devontae
it's-
Smith had a great game.
All right,
He had
whatever.
7 receptions,
Whatever.
76
Give
yards.
us your
Falcons are
final
winning.
touch. Give us your final
Falcons-
touch so we can move into the last 2
Falcons
games.
are winning. Falcons are beating the Chiefs. This
Dumb
week.
pick. Dumb pick.
Okay.
Ben, is this the game that I'm about to say, is this the game where you were like, ooh, is it the Jaguars Bills?
Yes.
I'm picking the
Interesting.
Bills.
And Doug Peterson,
I'm picking
we
the
trust.
Bills.
Dougie P is not starting out 0-3. I'm going with the Jags. That was a good
Trevor
round.
Lawrence, after what I've seen in these posts that Jake is getting me hyped up with, I'm picking the Bills. I'm tired of Trevor Lawrence. I agree, Jake. I've rode for Trevor Lawrence. I've rode for him so long. I've hyped him up. I've said he was going to be this. I've said he was going to be that. I'm tired of it. I'll go with the Bills.
I'm going for the Jags for multiple reasons. 1, I love Doug Peterson. 2, I like this Jags roster. And 3, my preseason prediction of the Bills missing the playoffs is not looking very good, and I need it to come.
It's not
to
looking
fruition.
good for me either, but I'll
I was
make
gonna
up
say
for
you
it.
both hated on them actually.
I know I did, but I'll make up
And I mean,
for it
I
by
wasn't
giving
a
them a
big.
win.
I don't think any of us were believers really anyway. But I mean, like
I said they're
I
Hey,
wasn't
playoffs.
strong one way or another.
They're one
I'll
Josh
make up for it
Allen.
by giving them a win.
They're one Josh Allen ankle injury away from losing 5 games in a row.
Yeah,
And if he
that
keeps
is-
hurtling people, that might happen.
Yeah, and look,
Jake.
this Jacksonville defense has been pretty solid this season. The
Jake,
offense needs
Gabe.
to prove something.
I'm
Yeah,
going
so
Bills.
I agree
Gabe's
with
going Bills.
I agree with Gabe here. The Jaguars behind the Eagles are my most hated team for 2 reasons. I hate the Jaguars. Number 1, Trevor Lawrence, you're a fraud. You're the exact same stats as Daniel Jones. You're the same player, just getting paid $50 million. That's fraud money. And number 2, I hate Doug Peterson. On the sole fact that in 2020, he purposely threw a game that if the Giants would have made the playoffs if the Eagles would have won. So I hate Doug Peterson. I hate the Jaguars. I want them to lose. I'll probably predict them to lose every single game this season. I'm going with the Bills.
Hey, I love being on an island, boys. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, you won last week on an island, so
Yeah, you having fun? Well,
Yeah.
last game is Bengals Commanders.
This better be consensus. This better be consensus.
is Jaden Daniels him though? Chris, is Jaden Daniels him?
Yeah,
Prime
look at his
time?
face. He wants to say.
Wait. Primetime game, Chris? You wait, Chris. You can't predict Caleb Williams to win a game and not Jaden Daniels, can you?
Yeah,
Can you?
Jaden Daniels has to one up Caleb
Because
Williams. every
because
single
basically
time
what
he
you're
plays.
saying.
Why don't
is
we
that-
save Chris for last? Why don't we save Chris
Yeah,
for
we
last?
should. We should.
I'm
Give him some
going
time
with
to let him marinate
I'm
in
going
the
with
fact.
Cincinnati. Joe Burrow looked really
Smart.
solid this past week. I think this Cincinnati team is going to do what they do every season and suck the first 2 weeks and then turn it around and sneak it to the playoffs. Well, maybe not sneak it to the playoffs, but we'll come back to that. But I think they're going to start turning it around, and I think Washington is atrocious. So I'm going with Burrowhead and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Nice. Go ahead, Gabe.
Bengals looked a lot better than I thought they would against Kansas City. I also know that the Commanders really did not look good for a team that I thought was going to. I mean, like, yeah, we lost, but I thought, I mean, Washington is always going to be a bad team, but I thought Jaden Daniels would look a lot better. Brian Robinson was one of their
Yeah.
good
Don't
players.
forget my boy
Great
Zach Ertz.
highlights. Zach Ertz really did look good, actually.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did not see much impressive stuff from that
Ertz.
Washington team. I'm going Cincinnati.
All right.
Hey, the
I'll keep
Eagles
this
need
nice
another
and
tight
short.
end on the roster. Just saying.
I'll keep this nice and short. I want the Bengals to win. I feel like they always win on prime time, or at least put on a show on prime time. So I'm going with the Bengals, but I'm really excited to hear what Chris has to say, because if he picks Caleb Williams to win and not Jaden Daniels, that means that he thinks Caleb Williams is better, right?
I would think so.
Never in a million years. I'm picking the Bengals, but I will be rooting for the Commanders to win this game. I will be picking the Bengals, but I will be rooting for Jaden Daniels to take this win.
You realize if the Eagles lose and Washington wins, you guys are tied, right?
I don't care.
Oh wait, no, they would be ahead of you, right? Because they would be 2-1.
Oh,
I don't
wait,
care.
wait. Who's currently in last place in the NFC East, though?
I'll put it this way, Jake.
The
Commanders have always been like my least hated team in the NFC East.
I've never
just for obvious reasons.
Because
they had Ron Rivera for their head coach for as long as they did for reasons.
I've never had much.
Jake, are you late?
Oh, yeah,
Jake, he's been fired.
Yeah, and he should have been fired ever since they
Dan
hired him.
Campbell. Why'd you say Dan Campbell?
He sucks. Dan Campbell sucks, bro. He literally
Dan
lost
Campbell's not the coach of the Commanders.
Oh my God! Holy crap!
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn. Dans. The Dans. The Dans.
You don't even know what's going on right now, dude.
I'm in La La Land, bro.
You're all in La La Land thinking that Caleb Williams is better than Jaden Daniels when he's not.
This is a very, very late night episode. I must say.
I'm tired, bro. I was gonna go to bed.
I cannot wait for this episode to be put up so I can rewatch my tangent on Bryce Hoff and Marab. I cannot wait to rewatch both of them.
Instagram.
Freakies is not boring to watch. I don't understand that. He charges in at his opponents.
Okay,
he made Izzy look terrible. Go ahead. All right, whatever.
Okay, we gotta wrap it up.
My God. Final notes.
Final notes. Temple football. Good effort.
Shush. No, I don't even want to hear it if it's Temple football. I don't even want to hear it.
Final notes. I retract.
Basketball. Their schedule is out now. They're gonna be good this year.
Wow.
I'm very high.
Final notes. The Phillies won today.
Mets are 2 games ahead. The Mets are 2 games ahead.
Marab, you are not a champ. Dreykus Duplessis, you are not a champ. Bilal Muhammad, you are not a champ. And Islam Makhachev, you are not a champ. Bryce Huff, you are complete trash. Same with Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, and Jalen Hurts. And those are my final notes.
Shout out Penn State's going to make the college football playoff, and you guys are going to cry because I am.
Shout out Georgia, by the way. Big dubs.
Oh, I actually got a great shout out. Shout out Arch Manning for starting this upcoming week. I can't wait to watch that game. I want him to be a Giant so badly that
I'm going to give a quick shout out.
I would be okay with them not drafting a QB to wait for Arch Manning, but we're not going to do that.
I'm going to give a great shout out now you brought that up before I close us out. This is also, going to be funny when it happens. When Archie Manning balls out this week, right? Absolutely balls out. And the Texas looks at, starting him over Quinn Ewers. At my boy Billy Cullen, you know who you are. When that happens, I want you to give me a phone call and say that I was right, buddy. Because watch, it's gonna happen when he throws for 400 yards, won't it?
They wouldn't bench Quinn Ewers because he's an NFL draft prospect.
So flashy.
They would just.
I love Archie Manning. He's so
gonna put
flashy.
up 400 because they're playing
that guy. He is that guy, Archie
Manning. So
Jake, if they said to me right now, if this was say this was right now, but Archie Manning was ready for the NFL, I would get rid of Jalen Hurts for him instantly.
Oh my God!
No
hesitation. But you would have to get the number 1 pick. He would be the number 1 pick, though. The Eagles would need the number 1 pick.
Would the Giants trade the number 1 overall pick for Jalen Hurts?
I'll do that. I'll do that easily. I would 100% do that. I'll take Jalen Hurts over Daniel Jones any day of the week.
Over Daniel Jones,
Manning,
I would take
but over Arch Manning, no. Not over Arch Manning.
Well,
no.
that's what
I'll
Ben
take
asked
Nick
you. He said, "Would you give the first overall pickup for Jalen Hurts?"
In
Arch
this
Manning
draft,
isn't going to be in
yes.
the draft this year.
Yeah, in this draft, yes.
Well,
Wish we could
He's-
take
he's
him.
not allowed
That'd be
to-
crazy.
yeah.
Like I
Time-
would take him
Can
if
we do a
had the capacity.
reserve? Like we get him next year? Can we do that, please?
I
no.
would.
Well, time to end it on there. So stay hyped, stay hungry, keep the frenzy alive. We'll see you